Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be simulating 10 seasons in the NBA with the new Hoopland rosters I've spent weeks creating, and we're going to see who the best team this year is going to be. I've spent a ton of time editing all of the players. I've touched over 400 different players' attributes, height, weight, likeness, tattoos, more realistic scores, rebounds, assists for the entire league as a whole. You'll know what I mean when I get into it. If you use the regular Hoopland rosters or you use other ones, maybe from a Discord or different links, the scores are not accurate. You'll get games even in the 60s, 50s if you use the regular Hoopland rosters, and some of the newer rosters, you would never see that in an NBA game. With the rosters I have been editing for literally weeks, you'll see 10 seasons, realistic stats. We're going to see a lot of variation, different defensive player of the years, different MVPs. Let's get into it. Let's do 10 simulations right now. I'm also going to have a link to this roster in the description. This is the completely free roster you guys can download. I've spent a ton of time working on it, and I want to give a huge shout out to Oscar S. He doesn't know I'm doing this, but he is in the Hoopland Discord, always posting the courts, realistic, data for the NBA. So I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Oscar. But here are the settings you need to use if you're going to be doing any sort of rebuild with this roster. You can get accurate stats, accurate scores, the whole 9 yards, but you got to use these different settings. So it's going to be commissioner mode, so you can make trades, which I think is important. Now, there is going to be a pretty big update December 11th through the 22nd. Somewhere in that gap is what Quality Games mentioned in their Discord. It's going to be adding the ability to import different draft classes, which is going to be huge for upcoming seasons, trying to add realism. They're going to scale the archetypes for different players, because right now you get random players that are 6 foot, 240 pounds, that have amazing playmaking, no shooting, no finishing, amazing steals. The archetypes don't make any sense right now. It's kind of just all random, but they're going to hopefully adjust that. But at least having the ability to import draft classes year over year gives you the ability to make your own, which I will be doing a ton of, so I can have multiple accurate draft classes for a rebuild, maybe 3 or 4 seasons down the line. So enough of that. Let's get into the settings. It's going to be NBA 2023, NCAA 2024. These are going to be both in the description. Now, typically, right now the salary cap is actually 134 million. I put it up to 150. Now, I've noticed giving a little extra wiggle room to the CPU teams makes a difference, because when it comes to the draft, they don't re-sign their rookies. I don't know why, but they'll draft a player number 1 overall and then they'll hit free agency. Like, not even in the 4th year, in the 1st year. They don't sign them off their rookie contract, period. So, giving a little extra, and sometimes I have to spend maybe 5 minutes going through and signing all the rookies, so that way you're not seeing Bronny James and Ron Holland sitting in free agency in the next year. So, anyway, it's going to be 3, 4, and 2. That's not exactly accurate for the real life. I think they play 4 games per division, but this is how you get the most accurate games. You can actually have 82 games. And then when it comes to the draft, the lottery odds, you can keep the same. The playoffs, I have a way to add the play-in tournament. You're going to bump it up to 10 teams per conference. First round's going to be single elimination, and then the rest are going to be best of 7. That's going to make the 7 play the 10 and the 8 play the 9. Now, I know in real life it would be, let's say the 10 upsets the 7. The 7 still wouldn't be out of it. They'd have a chance to play again. In this one, it's not. So, let's say the Warriors are the 10th seed. The Pelicans are the 7th. If the Warriors win, they just move on to the playoffs. The Pelicans don't make it. It is what it is. I think it's a little bit more fun. It's going to be 24 minutes. It's going to be the longest game length you can possibly have. 4 quarters. Shot clock, I've adjusted that before to see if you can get more shots up. 24 is perfect. Legend difficulty, I don't think it makes a difference, but I put it on Legend every time. And this is the biggest thing you need to make sure you're doing. Put the game style on arcade. But I don't want the game to be arcade. I want it to be realistic. It's going to be realistic if you put it on arcade. Don't question the attributes I've given to the players, all right? You might say, Joel Embiid, he doesn't have a great three-point shot. He's got a decent three-point shot. He's got 10 inside scoring, 10 layups, 10 dunking. You can make an argument for it. Is he one of the best mid-range shooters in the league? Probably not. Is he one of the best knockdown three-point shooters in the league? Probably not, but he's also led the league in scoring multiple times. And you can't have a player lead the league in multiple times in scoring in my simulations if they don't have super high attributes for scoring. Don't question what's going on behind the scenes with these different players, their attributes and whatnot. I've ran the tests. I've crunched the numbers. You can see here, this is all the transactions that usually happen throughout. OKC kind of makes some moves usually. Same with the Utah Jazz. And I also do have 3 full pages. Well, there was 3 full pages, but a few players have been signed, of accurate free agents. They are usable. They're not awful. They're not amazing. They're not going to take over for anybody. Anyway, let's go ahead and simulate through 10 seasons, and let's see who is going to be the most dominant team in the 2024 NBA season. Let's do it. First order of business, Big Vic wins Rookie of the Year. Malcolm Brogdon, Sixth Man of the Year. Trae Young, Most Improved Player. I've noticed, I think Trae Young wins it every single time. It's whoever the guard on the Atlanta team is, because the Atlanta Talons, this is a weird tangent, but the Atlanta Talons, the fake team that Hoopland has in, that guard always wins Most Improved. So for the first year, Most Improved doesn't matter. It's going to go to the Atlanta guard every single time. But Trae Young's going to win it 10 times out of 10. Luka, scoring champ. Clint, rebounding champ. Halliburton, assists. Butler with the steals. Vic leads the league in blocks. Doncic, clutch. Asar Thompson, this is one that might happen sometimes. DPOY with the mix of blocking and steals. And Luka wins MVP. So that is the first order as far as, accolades are concerned. We look at the top teams here. Boston, Milwaukee, the Suns, the Clippers. When injuries are not a concern, then it looks like those teams play well. They've got a very talented roster. Got Denver here at 7. And then look at the bottom here. It's your usual suspects. You got Charlotte, the Jazz, the Trailblazers, the Wizards, the Bulls. And I also do have Lonzo Ball in this. I know he doesn't play. He's a gritty, fun player, so I got him in the league. If you don't like it, so be it. You can just lower his stats. Colby White's not going to change. He's not going to move the needle much. Maybe they're a little bit worse. So be it. Now let's go ahead and simulate through. You can see here, this is the version of the play-in. We got the Magic and the Nets. We got the Heat and the Raptors. And then we got the West teams. So, if I simulate through this one game, yes, the Magic do move on against the Nets. But the Heat, the Warriors, and the Mavs are all upsetting higher seeds. And they're going to move on to the playoffs themselves. So let's go ahead and simulate through the playoffs. First year is going to be the Boston Celtics under Jason Tatum, averaging 38 and 5. And they take down the Grizzlies in a clean sweep. Let's get on to season 2. All right, season number 2 in the books. I see the Wizards went 41 and 41. That's overachieving, if I would say so. Big Vic, Rookie of the Year again. Brogdon, Sixth Man, Most Improved Trae Young. Luka leads the league in scoring. DeAndre Ayton now. This is the first adjustment. Rebound champ. LeBron James leads the league in assists. Jimmy Butler in steals. Giannis in blocks. Giannis DPOY as well, and Luka wins another MVP, going 31, 9, and 8. At the top, we also have the Celtics and the Bucks again. This time, the Nuggets are the best team out west. The Clippers fall from, I think, 3 or 4 to 6 now. The Kings are up here as well. Looking at the bottom feeders, it's the usual suspects again, but I did see that the Wizards were 16th, so let's see, how did that happen? Tyus Jones, 18, 4, and 6. Jordan Poole actually having a decent season for once. Denny Avdia, Kuz, and Gallinari. So it looks like their starters were just all mid enough to go completely 500. So let's go ahead and simulate. Did they make the playoffs? They are the 7th seed. We'll see if they beat the Bulls. They do. OKC knocks off the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's simulate through the playoffs. Year number 2 is the Celtics again, who basically have one of the best rosters ever assembled if you look at pure talent. Jaylen Brown wins Finals MVP, 28, 6, and 5, and they gentlemen sweep the 8 seed Warriors. Oh, we got a little Warriors rematch. It was the Pacers versus Boston, who lost in 5, and it was the Grizzlies against the Warriors. Season 3 in the books. Let's see who is going to do it. Chet Holmgren now, different Rookie of the Year in year number 3. Malcolm Brogdon, Most Improved. Trae Young, scoring champ goes to Steph, averaging 32 points. Nick Claxton rebounds. LeBron averaging a 10 assist season. OG Anunoby, steal leader. Vic leads the league in blocks. Curry, clutch player of the year. Giannis, DPOY again. And Yoke, 2 foreign players in the past 3 years, wins MVP. And what is Yoke's stats? I didn't even take a quick gander at that. 27, 9, and 8.5. Again, Milwaukee and Boston. Golden State playing very well, probably because Steph Curry. Clay averaged 16, definitely still falling off a cliff there. And I added his cliff in this roster, don't you worry. What's Miami look like? Heroes playing point. Duncan Robinson on the starting lineup. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Solid team. They got a good defense, only averaging 114 per game. And you see if you look at this column here, points per game, 127 is obviously extremely high. But there's variation in all of these. And the average score throughout the past few years is 113 points per game for the average team. There are some teams with bad offenses, like the Pistons, who can't space. They're averaging, 109. There are some amazing super teams, basically, like the Bucks, who have 2 elite scorers. Dame averages 26. Chris Middleton has a good year. Giannis 25.5. Now, you can make an argument and say, hey, Chris Middleton shouldn't be averaging 20 points per game. That's for the stoics to ponder. You know, for me, I just want to simulate and run through. Oftentimes, too, the Suns are usually super ridiculously OP. It's been scaled back a little bit. KD averaged 30 points per game. But, you know, between Eric Gordon being in the starting lineup and Yusuf Nurkic, they're not as insane as they could be. So let's go ahead and get through the play-in, simulate the playoffs. Year numero tres is the Celtics again, with Anthony Davis winning Finals MVP. And I try to scale it to where that doesn't happen. It's a 4-2 series. Usually that wouldn't happen. What did Anthony Davis average? He averaged over 30 points per game. He was the player of the game for that team every single time, it looks like. All right, well, that is going to be it. Boston wins 3 straight so far. Let's hop in to season number 4. All right, season number 4 is here. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Brogdon, Trae Young, you know those boys. Steph Curry, Claxton, LeBron, Paul George leads the league in assists. Chet Holmgren leads the league in blocks. Giannis, DPOY, and Luka back to MVP. So back to what we were seeing before a little bit. The Thunder are the best team out west now. Shea averaging almost 28 points, 5 and 8. Bulls back to their beautiful 25 and 57 overall. Looks like the Pistons were not the worst team. Anyone I'm seeing out of the ordinary, the Knicks are playing well. And we've got round number 1 ready to roll. It's going to be the Phoenix Suns winning it. Devin Booker, Finals MVP on 28, 4, and 6. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks in a 6-game series. So we've got, so far, in 4 seasons, Boston winning 3 of them, and now the Suns being the first team out west to win it. Year number 5 now. Let's see it. Chet Holmgren, Rookie of the Year. Brogdon, Trae, same old, same old. Curry leads the league. Claxton, LeBron, Drew Holiday now in steals. Victor in blocks. Giannis, DPOY, and Jokic MVP. All right. See what we got here as far as standings go. Boston, Milwaukee at the top. I think it's just because the East is so top heavy. Seeing the Sixers usually finishing 3rd. Got a couple Los Angeles teams here. Miami finishing in 3rd, actually. They jumped up. Jimmy Butler averaged 25 in this season. Check out who we've got. It's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard, Finals MVP, 29, 3, and 7, defeating the Memphis Grizzlies in a 7-game series. What was the conference finals looking like? It was going to be Boston in a 7-game series, and the Dallas Mavericks on the back of Luka Doncic. And just today, or yesterday actually, Desmond Bane dropped 49 points. Shout out to Desmond Bane. So far, Boston showing a lot of firepower here in the playoffs, especially. I think it's pretty consensus that it's going to be those 2 teams fighting it out in the Eastern Conference. You could make an argument for the Heat, the Sixers, assuming Joel Embiid can actually perform in the playoffs. But I think the East is pretty much locked up. The West is a little bit more open. I'm a Nuggets fan, and the Nuggets, I feel like, should be the favorites, but at the same time, too, Minnesota's played so well lately. OKC's hitting their stride at the right time. You know, the Phoenix Suns, if they can get their potential all the way up, there's a chance as well. So we'll see as the year goes on. Victor, Rookie of the Year. I mean, same old for these players. Luka leads the league in scoring. Claxton in rebounds. LeBron in assists again. Jimmy Butler. Blocks, Doncic, Giannis, Luka. All right, chalk season. This year we got the Phoenix Suns finishing at number 1. Milwaukee is finishing at number 11. I mean, Giannis won DPOY. They still average 122 points per game, but looks like we just had more dominant performances. Devin Booker, 26. Beal, 21.5. KD, 28. Simulate through. The Wizards made the playoffs as a 10 seed. The Celtics win the finals. Tatum, 25, 8, and 5. They beat the Suns in a gentleman's sweep. Year number 7, Victor Wembanyama, Malcolm Brogdon, Trae Young, Curry, Claxton, LeBron. Holmgren leads in blocks, Giannis, and Jokic winning MVP. All right, we're seeing very similar stuff here. Let's see, can the Nuggets win one finally? Can the Nuggets get one? The Phoenix Suns get one. All right. In a 6-game series against the Celtics, the Western Conference Finals was the Nuggets, who lost in 7 to the Suns. All right, this is season number 8. I'm pulling for something big here. Give me a team that isn't Boston or the Suns. Give me a team out west. Give me the Grizzlies. I think they did win one, actually. Give me, actually, no, they made the finals, but they didn't win it. Give me maybe the Timberwolves. Let's see something new. Chet wins Rookie of the Year. Brogdon, Trae, Luka, Claxton, Trae, Jimmy, Jaren Jackson Jr., Giannis, Defensive Player of the Year, and Jokic MVP again. All right, let's see what we got here in the playoffs, maybe. It looks like everybody but the Raptors made made the playoffs. That should have, at least. Milwaukee wins it. Giannis 38-6, and the Timberwolves actually make it, and they lose in 5. What was the Western Conference Finals? Clippers, Timberwolves, and Bucks Celtics. Wow, wow, wow. Giannis takes home another chip. Ant had 40. It didn't matter. It was too little, too late for the Ant-Man. He comes up small. We're on to simulation number 9. I'm pulling for the Nuggets in at least one of these. The Nuggets got to win one championship. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Brogdon basically wins it every single year. Scoot is starting, and so Malcolm Brogdon's getting shooting guard minutes and point guard minutes. So him putting up nearly 10 points per game. Even if the team is bad as a whole, he is just scoring the most points. Hoopland still has it, if the CPU takes care of a lot of these things, to where almost, 7 or 8 players on the bench are getting minutes. And in reality, most NBA teams are not running 12-man rotations. He's usually closer to 10 and even shortens up in the playoffs. So let's simulate through the season. Boston wins the finals. It's going to be Jason Tatum winning finals MVP against the 2-seed Mavericks. Okay, with Luka Doncic, the MVP. The Nuggets fall short in the Western Conference Finals. Let's see who's going to take care of business in season number 10. We've seen at this point the Grizzlies have made it out of the West. We've seen the Suns a couple times who have won, I think, 1 or 2. We've seen the Nuggets haven't made it to the finals yet, but they've won and made it to the Western Conference Finals almost every year. The Clippers, we're seeing some fun new teams. Let's see if we can get a little bit of variety in this last season. It's going to be Chet winning Rookie of the Year, Brogdon, Trey, Doncic, Claxton, LeBron, Drew, Chet again for blocks, Luka, clutch player of the year, Chet Holmgren, defensive player of the year. Okay, we like to see that. And MVP is Luka Doncic. How many triple doubles did he have on the season? He had 10. Nikola Jokic had 16, and LeBron had 9. Who else leads the league in assists? I feel like LeBron's been leading the league. Halliburton's right behind him. I guess as far as passing goes, I think those are the only 2 players that I gave 10 out of 10 passing. I guess LeBron has 9.5, so Garland also has 9.5, Trey Young 9.5, James Harden. You see the usual suspects. They're just not jumping over LeBron. LeBron's just got in his bag in, year 21 or whatever it is. If we look at the top teams out, it's going to be LeBron's team. That's why he's averaging the most assists, because he's got, a better D-Lo, Austin Reeves playing point, Anthony Davis locking up the paint. And they are the number 1 seed in the West. Let's see, the Lakers taking on the Warriors. Bucks, Heat. Let's simulate through. Give me the final. It's going to be the Clippers. The Clippers win the NBA championship. James Harden, 26-5 and almost 9. Over a steal per game. They beat the Bucks in 6. Look at that. It's going to be the Mavs and Clips, and then the Bucks. The Bulls are here? Why are the Bulls here? The 76ers are here. They lose in a game 7. So we are very close under the hood to seeing a lot of new teams. But it just happens to be those same teams that keep calling through in the clutch. It is what it is. The Clippers win that one. Let's finish it out. Let's get the last 2 in. I know I said 10, but we're right here. If James Harden and the Clippers win a championship this year, that will be honestly one of, if not the biggest trades that looked terrible to start and came through. Because right now it's starting to look better in real life. I think they've won like 6 out of their past 10. But that's still not great. And, if James Harden comes through, wins finals MVP, he solidifies himself. He's already a Hall of Famer, but he solidifies himself as one of the greatest point guards of all time, or just guards in general. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Same suspects here. Joel Embiid leads the league in rebounds. LeBron in assists. Jaren Jackson Jr. blocks. Giannis DPOY, and Luka MVP. Philly in the number 2 seed on the back of Joel Embiid, who finishes 26, 10, and 3.5. We got to get his playmaking up a little bit. That's why he's not winning MVP at all. All right, simulate through. Show me somebody new. It's the Clippers again. The Clippers are on a hot streak. Paul George wins finals MVP. He takes down the Boston Celtics in 6. Who are the Eastern Conference Finals? Boston played the Bucks again, and in a 7-game series, the Nuggets fall short, and the Clippers win the chip. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Trey Young averaging 30 points per game in this season. Tyrese Halliburton leads the league in assists. Kawhi in steals. Victor in blocks, Giannis, DPOY, and Nikola Jokic wins MVP. So I think we only had 2 MVPs. We had Luka and we had Jokic. That was it. Simulate the playoffs. It's going to be the Celtics with Kevin Durant winning finals MVP in a 6-game series. He had to have been player of the game in every single game. So how you can tell that basically is if you look at the top performers, you'll see their name pop up. There's 2. There's 3, 4. Oh, no, not this one, actually. So the way you can adjust that is by going into your customization, loading in your league, and when you go to edit awards and you want to adjust this, I've scaled so that way teams that lose the finals don't, you know, get finals MVP. I've made the losses as low as they go. I've boosted up the team wins, and the players of the game have no impact on it. So I don't know how they keep winning it when they lose. I try my best to adjust it. It is what it is, but that is it for the 2023 NBA simulations. We ran through 12 seasons. The majority of the finals winners, unfortunately, for me as a Nuggets fan, were the Boston Celtics. You know, we had a couple random teams in there. If we look, you know, we had the Celtics in one, Celtics in another one. The Celtics won the first 3. We had the Bucks against the Grizzlies. We had the Celtics again, so the Celtics won 4. We had the Suns again. The Suns have 2 now. The Bucks have 2 now. The Celtics win another one. They've got 4 or 5 now. Clippers won back-to-back. I don't even have to check the next one. I remember they won 2 straight, and then the Celtics win again. So it looks like your Boston Celtics are going to be the NBA champions for 2023. That is going to be it for me, guys. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like. A ton of new Hoopland content coming your way now that these rosters are completed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.